This video is for educational purposes only, not medical advice. Always consult your doctor before making any dietary or lifestyle changes. Your doctor checks your cholesterol. You get the number, and then you go home and eat oatmeal for breakfast because someone told you that was the answer. Does that sound familiar? You do what you were told. You follow the advice, and yet the number barely moves. Or it moves a little and then creeps back. And you wonder, is this just what getting older looks like? Is this the best there is? What if it is not? There is a seed, smaller than a sesame seed, almost black. It has been used to support heart health for over 3,000 years. It appears by name in the book of Isaiah. A bottle of it was found in the tomb of a pharaoh, and a meta-analysis covering 34 randomized controlled trials found it was associated with significant reductions in LDL cholesterol and total cholesterol. It costs less than $1 a month, and almost nobody over 60 in America knows it exists. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will never look at that bowl of oatmeal the same way again. If you are new here, subscribe to Ancestral Fix. Every week, we find what the ancient world knew and what your body still needs. Think about what you ate for breakfast this morning. Oatmeal, maybe some fruit, maybe eggs. Safe choices, reasonable choices, the kind your doctor would nod at. Now think about what a farmer in ancient Israel ate 3,000 years ago. He grew wheat, he grew barley, he pressed olives for oil, and in a small clay jar near the kitchen, he kept a handful of tiny black seeds, pungent, slightly bitter, so small you could hold hundreds in your palm. He did not call them a supplement. He did not measure doses. He just knew that the household that kept these seeds on the shelf stayed stronger, lived longer, worked harder. That seed was named in the book of Isaiah. It was found in a pharaoh's tomb. Hippocrates wrote about it. And modern researchers across 34 clinical trials are now confirming what the ancient world already knew. Here is what nobody ever told you about it. The seed is black cumin, known scientifically as Nigella sativa. In the New King James Bible, Isaiah chapter 28 verses 25 and 27, the prophet describes a farmer sowing his fields. Among the crops he names is black cumin. The same tiny dark seed had been cultivated across the ancient Near East for thousands of years before Isaiah ever put it in writing. Archaeologists found black cumin seeds in the tomb of the Egyptian pharaoh Tutankhamun. In ancient Egypt, it was called the panacea, meaning cure for everything. Not because they were naive, because they had been watching what it did for generations. Hippocrates wrote about it. Dioscorides, the Roman physician whose botanical writings were used in medicine for over 1,500 years, documented it in detail. From the farms of Israel to the kitchens of Egypt to the markets of ancient Rome, this seed was simply part of daily life. Not exotic, not expensive, just present. And after 60, when your cardiovascular system faces pressures it never faced before, this is exactly the seed your body has been missing. Here is what changes in your cardiovascular system after 60 that most people do not fully understand. Your arterial walls become less flexible. LDL cholesterol, the kind associated with buildup, tends to rise. And the chronic low-grade inflammation we talked about in our last video, it affects your arteries directly. It makes the walls of your blood vessels more vulnerable to damage. These are not abstract risks. They are the reason heart disease becomes the leading cause of death for adults over 65. Now, ask yourself honestly, is oatmeal enough? Is it really moving the needle the way you need it to? Because black cumin seed has been studied specifically for these mechanisms. A meta-analysis published in Clinical Nutrition ESPN in 2024, covering 34 randomized controlled trials with over 2,200 participants, found that Nigella sativa supplementation was associated with significant reductions in total cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, and triglycerides. A separate meta-analysis of 17 randomized controlled trials confirmed the same pattern across multiple study populations. And a 2-month clinical trial focused specifically on adults with high cholesterol found black cumin seed was associated with a significant reduction in LDL and a meaningful decrease in triglycerides. These are not animal studies. These are randomized controlled trials in human beings, the gold standard of nutritional research. The active compound is called thymoquinone. Research suggests it has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties that may help protect arterial walls from the kind of oxidative damage that rises with age. After 60, oxidative stress increases naturally. The antioxidant compounds in food become more important, not less. And black cumin seed delivers them in a form that has been safely consumed by humans for over 3,000 years. The FDA classifies black cumin seed as generally recognized as safe. Oatmeal is a reasonable food. The fiber in oats does support healthy cholesterol. But it has been on American breakfast tables for 2 generations, and heart disease is still the #1 killer. Does that tell you something? So how did this happen? How does a seed named in the Bible and found in a Pharaoh's tomb end up unknown to most Americans over 60? For most of human history, this seed was in the kitchen. It was in the bread. It was as ordinary as salt across the Middle East, North Africa, and the Mediterranean. Then, the Western food system took over. Foods that could be packaged, branded, and advertised at scale pushed out the simple seeds that grew in backyard gardens from Cairo to Jerusalem. Oatmeal was marketable, easy to box, easy to put in a commercial. A small jar of black seeds from a plant most Americans cannot name. There is no marketing budget for that. No profit in something that costs $1 a month and grows in the ground. So it was quietly moved to the ethnic grocery store. The jar your grandmother kept on the shelf was never replaced, but the seed was never gone. It is still growing across the Middle East and North Africa. Still pressed into oil, still stirred into bread in households that never forgot what it is. It was just waiting for the Western world to remember. And here is the thing that should make you pause. The research has been there for years. 34 clinical trials, thousands of participants, significant results. And your doctor has almost certainly never mentioned it. Why not? Because there is simply no financial incentive to recommend it. Now let me give you something you can actually do today. 3 simple ways to bring black cumin seed back to your table. The first and easiest method is half a teaspoon of black cumin seeds mixed with a teaspoon of raw honey, eaten once a day before a meal. This is one of the oldest preparation methods in the world and the format used in several of the clinical trials. The seeds have a slightly bitter, peppery flavor. The honey rounds it out. It takes 30 seconds. Look for Nigella sativa on the label. The seeds should be whole and almost black. A bag costs $3 to $5 and lasts for weeks. The second way is black cumin seed oil. Cold pressed from the seeds, it is available at health food stores and online. Research suggests the oil may be even more concentrated than the whole seeds. Take 1 teaspoon per day on its own or stirred into warm water with lemon. Start with half a teaspoon. The flavor is strong. The third way is to use the seeds in cooking. Sprinkle half a teaspoon over eggs in the morning. Stir into olive oil and dip bread. Press into flatbread, the way bakers have done for 3,000 years. Every household across the Middle East has known this for centuries, and it is one of the simplest ways to make this seed a daily habit. The Lord God put man in the garden to work it and keep it. Genesis 2 verse 15. The seed was in the ground before the pharmacy was ever built. Do not overthink this. If all you do today is order a small bag of black cumin seeds, you have already taken the first step. People have been eating this seed for 3,000 years without a YouTube video. You will be fine. Quality matters with black cumin seed. Not every product is what it claims to be. I have left a link in the description to the black cumin seed and oil I personally recommend. Both third-party tested, cold-pressed or whole seed, exactly what the research uses. I only recommend things I would give to my own family. 3,000 years ago, a farmer in ancient Israel cast tiny black seeds into the earth. He did not have a cardiologist. He did not have a cholesterol panel. He did not have a pill organizer. He had what God put in the ground. And it was enough. 34 randomized controlled trials, significant reductions in LDL, total cholesterol, and triglycerides. Named in the book of Isaiah, found in a Pharaoh's tomb, less than $1 a month. The seed is still here. It has been here the whole time. Subscribe to Ancestral Fix, because next time we look at a biblical food mentioned in the book of Numbers, one your ancestors ate freely, without cost, that supports healthy blood sugar after 60 in ways modern nutritionists are only beginning to understand. The earth is still full. The seeds are still growing. Go plant something.